We are the Gujarat Technological University. Since its inception over a decade ago, GTU has been empowering young and curating minds to realize their true potential. Over 4 lakh inspired students are enrolled with one of the premier academic universities in India. With more than 450 affiliated colleges in its fold operating across 5 zones of the state, GTU, the International Innovative University, your place to move forward.
Hello everyone, I am Hiren Patel. In this video lecture, we are going to discuss about vapor compression refrigeration system. We'll see throughout the video about basics of vapor compression refrigeration system, termed as VCR system. It is named due to the compression of refrigerant inside the system. The refrigerant is compressed and then circulated throughout the system, so it named as vapor compression refrigeration system. So starting with the introduction, vapor compression refrigeration is improved type of air refrigeration system in which suitable refrigerant can be used. Normally the refrigerant used are ammonia, carbon dioxide and sulfur dioxide in early days. Nowadays HCFC, CFC and other refrigerants are used, as we have seen in the lecture of refrigerants. So vapor compression refrigeration system just absorb the latent heat in evaporator and then it rejects this latent heat into the condenser to the atmosphere. So the VCR system is also known as latent heat pump. VCR system has some advantages as well as some disadvantages. So the advantages are, it has smaller size, it has less running cost, it can be employed for large range of temperature, the coefficient of performance is quite high. These advantages are compared to air refrigeration system. For particular turn of refrigeration, it is smaller and its running cost is less. Also it can employ the large range of temperature, or we can say we can obtain lowest temperature in VCR system compared to air refrigeration system. Also the coefficient of performance is quite high, but it has some disadvantages like the initial cost is very high and the prevention of leakage of refrigerant is the major problem for the VCR system. Okay, so these are the advantages and disadvantages. Now moving towards the simple VCR system. As you can see, this is the basic line diagram for the simple vapor compression refrigeration system. It has mainly 4 components, or we can say 5 components actually. First one is compressor, second condenser, third one that is evaporator, fourth one that is expansion valve or expansion device, fifth one that is receiver. So here in this system we are having 5 major components, that is compressor, condenser, evaporator, expansion valve and receiver. The function of compressor is to compress the low pressure and low temperature vapor refrigerant which is coming from the evaporator. Here this refrigerant is compressed and it is forwarded to the condenser. So the high pressure and high temperature refrigerant that is passed through the condenser where the latent heat of refrigerant is rejected to the atmosphere. After that, this refrigerant passes through the receiver. The condensed liquid refrigerant from the condenser is stored in vessel known as receiver, in which what happens, the liquid refrigerant is passed forwarded and the vapor refrigerant gets cooled with the coming back of the refrigerant. So the forwarded high pressure low temperature refrigerant to the expansion device. In expansion device, this high pressure and low temperature refrigerant get expanded. In expansion device, it reduces the pressure and as well as the temperature. So the pressure and temperature of refrigerant get reduced. This low pressure liquid vapor mixture passes to the evaporator. In evaporator, this liquid refrigerant absorb the heat and convert it to the vapor. So the low pressure and low temperature vapor refrigerant exit from the evaporator, which is forwarded to the compressor, and again it is compressed inside the compressor. This way the cycle continues from compressor to condenser to receiver to expansion device to evaporator to again compressor. So this is the basic simple vapor compression refrigeration cycle. This cycle can also be indicated on the pH chart. But before indication on the pH chart, we need to understand the pH chart, that is pressure enthalpy diagram or pressure enthalpy chart. Here it is the pressure enthalpy chart. In this pressure enthalpy chart there are some major lines. One of the major line is the saturation curve, that is this saturation curve. So up to the critical point, the line is known as saturated liquid line, and the after critical point, the line is known as saturated vapor line. This is the most convenient chart for studying the behavior of the refrigerant. The saturated liquid line and the saturated vapor line merge into a point that is known as critical point here. A saturated liquid line is one which has temperature equal to the saturation temperature corresponding to its pressure, and the space to the left of this saturated liquid line, this area, that is known as subcooled liquid region, and the space between this liquid line and vapor line, that is this space, this is called wet vapor region, and the right hand side of this saturated vapor line, this region, that is known as superheated vapor region. Another lines are constant volume lines, that is these lines, equally intermittently spaced. Then constant temperature line, that are coming from top to saturated liquid line, then it is going horizontal in wet vapor region, and then going again upward direction, downward direction here in the superheated vapor region. So these are the constant temperature lines, these ways. And last one is constant entropy line. So these are the lines in superheated vapor region, that is constant entropy line. So this is the general pH chart for every refrigerant. So for different refrigerant, different pH chart is there. So moving forward, there are many vapor compression cycles, but from that 5 important, or we can say majorly used cycles are there, which are listed over here. The first one is cycle with dry saturated vapor after compression, cycle with wet vapor after compression, cycle with superheated vapor after compression, cycle with superheated vapor before compression, and cycle with undercooling or subcooling of refrigerant. So these 5 cycles, or we can say modification of cycles, are important for this study purpose. So starting with the first, cycle with dry saturated vapor after compression. So here we can see the TS diagram as well as pH diagram. Okay, before moving to the cycle, if we plot pH diagram for our basic simple VCR system, then it will be look like this. So pressure and enthalpy. So here's the curve, saturation curve, that is now compression. The first, that is the compression. So compression process is normally, it is constant entropy process. So it will be like this, 1 to 2 if we take, then here 1 to 2, that is compression, 2 to 3, that is condensation. So if we see 2 to 3 condensation, that is constant pressure process. 3 to 4, 3 to 4, that is expansion. So that is constant enthalpy process. And 4 to 1, that is evaporation, that is constant pressure heat absorption. So here heat is absorbed and here heat is rejected. Here work is given and here the expansions takes place. So this is the cycle. So the modification of cycles are, first one, that is dry saturated vapor after compression. Here in this chart we have seen that the first point, that is before compression, it is saturated vapor, and after condensation it is saturated liquid. But in cycles these points are little bit different. Here first case, cycle with the dry saturated vapor after compression. So first, the compression takes place in compressor, but before compression the vapor is entering in vapor liquid mixture region here. So the vapor is not dry, it is wet vapor. So after compression the vapor obtained is saturated vapor. So we can see on the graph the second point is on the saturation vapor curve here. So the compression process is here 1 to 2. So vapor, whatever vapor entering before the compression is wet vapor, and after compression whatever the vapor we are obtaining is dry saturated vapor. Then 2 to 3 condensation, 3 to 4 expansion, and 4 to 1 evaporation. So in compression process the work given is W equal to H2 minus H1. Refrigerating effect, that is obtained in evaporator, that is H1 minus H4, and COP is RE divided by work, that is H1 minus H4 by H2 minus H1. So this is the theoretical cycle in which the vapor obtained is dry saturated after compression. So another modification is that the vapor obtaining after the compression is wet vapor. So before compression vapor is wet, but after compression it's also wet. So the vapor which is leaving the compressor, that is not saturated vapor, but it is wet vapor. So some amount of droplets of refrigerants are present in the vapor, and that vapor get condensed, and the cycle continues. Here also same, work is H2 minus H1, refrigerating effect is H1 minus H4, and COP is RE divided by W. But the difference is that the refrigerating effect obtained is less compared to the previous one, that is dry saturated vapor after compression. So refrigerating effect obtained will be less, so the ultimately COP will be less. So it is not advisable to use this cycle. Next modification of cycle is superheated vapor after compression. If we see previous two cycles, the vapor which is entering to the compressor is wet vapor, but in this case the vapor entering to the compressor is dry saturated vapor. So after compression we are getting the second point, that is inside the superheated vapor region. So we are obtaining the vapor after compression is superheated vapor. So here also work is H2 minus H1, refrigerating effect is H1 minus H4, but this refrigerating effect is far greater than previous two cases. So here we can see on the graph that it is very much greater than the previous two. So here COP will be higher compared to previous two cases. Next modification is cycle with superheated vapor before compression. So here the vapor which is entering into the compressor, that is superheated before the entering, and after compression it is also superheated. So here also the refrigerating effect is far greater than, but the problem is that the work done H2 minus H1, that is given to the compressor, is required higher compared to other modifications or other cycles. So compared to refrigerating effect and work done, the COP is higher than the previous cases, but the drawback is only that we have to given more work to the compressor, as it has to handle more volume of the vapor, as vapor is superheated. And the last case, that is undercooling or subcooling. In this case, the vapor entering to the compressor is dry and saturated, and after compression it is superheated vapor. After condensation, instead of saturated liquid, we are having subcooled liquid. So for that we have to do modification in condenser so that we can obtain this extra cooling inside the liquid of vapor, refrigerant. So 3-3 is the subcooling, or we can say undercooling of the refrigerant. The effect of that is inside the refrigerating effect, that we are obtaining H1 minus H4, that is greater than previous cases. So ultimately COP is higher than the other cases. So here work done given to the compressor is normal, so the COP will be higher. So these are the major 5 different kind of basic VCR cycles. Okay, these 5 are actually the theoretical cycle, but in actual case this is the different. Okay, as we can see in this TS diagram, here this is TS diagram, and if we see, this one is the actual TS diagram. So here if we put a theoretical diagram, you can understand better with the actual diagram. So this is the 1 2 3 4. So this is actually theoretical TS diagram, and this one is the actual TS diagram. So here 1 to 2 is the compression process. So here it is denoted by 3 to 6, 2 to 6, that is compression process. But in actual it is not like that. So what happens in actual cycle? The actual compression cycle differs from the theoretical cycle in many ways, like the vapor refrigerant leaving the evaporator here at point 2, that is in superheated state. So actually it is not leaving here, it is leaving at this 3 point. So the vapor which is entering to compressor, that is superheated. The compression of refrigerant is neither isentropic nor polytropic, so it should be straight line. But instead of that, it passes from 3 to 4, 4 to 5, 5 to 6, 6 to 7, and 7 to 8. So this is the actual flow of vapor. So compression is neither isentropic nor polytropic. The liquid refrigerant before entering the expansion valve is subcooled in the condenser. So if we see 8 to 10 and 10 to 11, that is condensation. So 8 to 10 is condensation and 10 to 11 is subcooling. So before entering to the expansion valve here, 11 to 1, it is subcooled 10 to 11, and that is done in condenser itself. And the pressure drop in evaporator and condenser. So pressure also drop in evaporator and condenser. Here you can see that 3 to 4. Here 3 to 4, that is pressure drop from evaporator to suction pressure. And here discharge 7 to 8 discharge pressure to condenser pressure. These are the pressure drop occurs inside the evaporator and condenser. So here process 1 to 2 to 3, that shows the process also flow of refrigerant in the evaporator. One is entry of evaporator, the second point, and here third point, second to 3, that is the exit of evaporator. Then 3 to 4, 4 to 5, 5 to 6, 6 to 7, and 7 to 8. This flow of refrigerant is through the compressor, and after 8 point it passes to the condenser. So 8 to 9, 9 to 10, and 10 to 11. This is the flow of refrigerant through condenser, where 8 to 9 represent the cooling of superheated vapor into saturated vapor, and then 9 to 10, that is saturated vapor to saturated liquid, and 10 to 11, that represent the subcooling, and 11 to 1, that is expansion of liquid through throttling devices. So this is the actual vapor compression refrigeration cycle. So these are the major difference, as we have discussed, that compared to theoretical cycle. Thank you for watching.